What's up, YouTube and the greater community out there? This is Dwayne 2 Cents, bringing you my 2 cents on politics, current events, sports, entertainment, also rants and raves, basically just whatever comes to mind that I choose to talk about. There was so much controversy surrounding last weekend's UFC 210 card. It all began with Pearl Gonzalez and her breast implant issues, and moved along to light heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier's weigh-in, where he mysteriously lost 1.2 pounds in just about 2 minutes. Of course, that was with the help of that magical towel.
205.
The controversy that I want to deal with happened in the co-main event between former light heavyweight champ Chris Weidman and number 4 ranked middleweight contender Gegard Mousasi. The former champ looked pretty good in the first round. He came out really strong, used his wrestling, and took down Mousasi a lot of times in that round. Even though Mousasi got back to his feet, you can definitely say that Chris won that first round. He was more dominant and seemed a lot more active in the first round. But the controversy happened in the second.
Until we get to the situation where these controversial knees happen. Chris was trying to put his hands down, and the referee stepped in as Gegard threw the second knee and called it illegal. Chris pulled out it. Well, Chris was trying to recover, rest. The referee, Mergliata, asked him a few questions, that whole situation was confusing.
Confusing is an understatement, but Kenny Florian attempts to break down the order of events.
And now this happens in a blink of an eye, so I don't fault the referee necessarily. But when you make a decision in the octagon, you can't go back and change it. There is no instant replay. Now, Dan Mergliata, as you said, he said it was an illegal knee. He tells Weidman, "Are you okay?" Weidman says he's injured. He goes to Mousasi and says, "Listen, that was an illegal knee." He says, "Illegal." Now, as they're waiting for Weidman to recover, someone from outside the octagon tells Dan, "Hey, we just saw the replay. That was a legal knee. That Mousasi's hand came off the canvas."
Chris's hand came off.
Chris's hand came off the canvas because Mousasi pulled him up through the knee, so it was legal. Weidman can't continue. And then Mergliata says, "Okay, that was now a legal knee. The fight's over because Weidman couldn't continue." You can't make a decision in the octagon and then change it.
Okay, Kenny has a point here, but there's more to consider, as pointed out by Joe Rogan.
And it's not his fault. He's an excellent referee. The fault is that the athletic commission, under situations like this, doesn't use an instant replay. And they should, because it's the fair thing to do, to make sure that the fight it's fair. And I think Weidman could have gone on. I think had there been a question whether or not it was legal, they could look at the instant replay and then they make the call. The strikes are legal, we're going to continue. And you either continue them from the exact same position and say ready, go, or you have a protocol in place. Like you have to separate them, go back to your corners, and re-engage.
Sound like I'm riding Joe's dick here, but the man's insights are very valid, as stipulated in the Unified Rules and Regulations of Mixed Martial Arts. I'll read to you the most relevant part of the regulation. It says, if a fighter is fouled by a blow the referee deems illegal, the referee should stop the action and call for time. The referee may take the injured fighter to the ringside doctor and have the ringside doctor examine the fighter as to their ability to continue on in the contest. The ringside doctor has up to 5 minutes to make their determination. If the ringside doctor determines that the fighter can continue in the contest, the referee shall, as soon as practical, restart the fight. Unlike the low blow foul rule, the fighter does not have up to 5 minutes of time to use at their discretion and must continue in the fight when instructed by the referee.
To be absolutely certain from where he was standing, as big as he is, looking down like that. I would just imagine it probably looked like Weidman's hands were touching. When we saw it in the replay, I asked them to show me different angles.
Different angles, yes.
I'm like, because at the first they said, look, it looks like it's illegal. And then I said, I don't see his fingers. I want to see his fingers. Let me see his fingers. And then when we went to one where you see his fingers, you can see Mousasi lift him up, which is what you're supposed to do. So the only reason why Weidman had his hands down like that is because he thought that could prevent him from getting hit. He didn't have his hands down like that because it's an offensive gesture. He's not like putting his hands down there because it's a next move. You know, what he's doing is he's dealing with the fact that Mousasi has his neck He's dealing with the fact he's getting kneed in the head, and he's thinking the best way to stop it is to put my two hands down.
Again, great insight from Joe Rogan. And Weidman basically admitted this at the post-fight press conference.
I knew what I was doing. I was putting two hands on the mat because I knew he kneed me in the head once when I had the hand down. So I said, all right, I'm going to put the two hands down. He can't knee me. And then he kneed me. The ref stopped it, saying it was illegal knee.
I mean, did you think that you were going to win by DQ? Did you think a no contest was coming?
The whole time he was telling me it's an illegal knee. You have 5 minutes, take your time. So yeah, I thought I was going to win because of the illegal knee.
Walk us through the different tests that they were giving you, what they were saying. There seemed to be some back and forth between the ref and the doctor and you. Can you relay what was going on there?
I mean, they were just asking me the normal type questions. I'm answering them, and yeah.
How did they determine that you weren't fit to keep going?
They thought I was too. I don't know. I don't really know the reason why. Like they thought I wasn't fit. I thought I was ready to go. I've been through way worse. So.
Hey Chris, did you ever tell the doctor that you weren't fit to fight?
No, definitely not.
Did they ask you that question?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I was telling them I'm good.
And yet they still stopped it?
Yes.
And did they give you a reason?
No.
They didn't say, we think you're this?
Yeah, well, they thought you're not fit to fight.
But just because, like, they didn't give you, like, an eye test or something? They
were definitely testing me, and based on what they thought I wasn't ready, which I don't know why.
Okay, so here's my 2 cents on the matter, and I'm gonna have to dole it out in parts. Part 1. Referees can change their mind. A lot of people, Weidman included, have made a point of saying that there is no instant replay in New York. But here's the thing. That instant replay rule basically means that the commission themselves cannot overturn the call of the ref in the octagon based upon what is on the instant replay. It doesn't mean that a ref themselves cannot overturn their own decision based on a replay or more information. So when Big John McCarthy told Dan to review the tape, and he did, Dan Miragliotta overturned himself. The second part of this is Weidman beat himself. When he thought that the knee was illegal, he started acting as if he was extra injured and couldn't go on. It was only after Dan Miragliotta told him that the knee actually was legal that he bounced up off the canvas and started telling the doctors that he's perfectly fine. First thing is, Weidman shouldn't have been playing that game. The whole reason why the unified MMA rules were changed at the beginning of this year on the rules of a grounded opponent was to prevent people from taking advantage of the rules, because it used to be you only had to have 3 points of contact. So people would put one hand down so they wouldn't get kneed. So now it's 2 hands down, and Weidman still was trying to take advantage of that rule. Mark Radner is UFC Vice President of Regulatory Affairs and former Executive Director of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. When he was asked about this subject a couple of years ago, he basically said he does not like when guys take advantage of the rules of a grounded opponent. And he said he informs his refs to basically use their discretion and to warn fighters that if they do what Weidman was doing, that they do it at their own peril, leaving it totally up to the discretion of the ref. So from there, the ref said the knee was legal. So then everything now becomes a determination of the doctor. And Weidman himself admitted that the doctor's decision was he was not fit to fight. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't fit, but after you spend more than 3 or 4 minutes acting like you're hurt and can't go on, how then you then turn around and say, oh, no, sorry, I'm completely fine now. It is his fault that the match was called a TKO. Period. He cannot blame anybody else but himself. He was trying to work the system, and it didn't work in his favor. The end. Well, that's my 2 cents on the matter, so tell me, what's yours? Feel free to sound off in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Even if you didn't like it, give it a goddamn thumbs up anyway. Don't forget to share and subscribe for more interesting commentary in the weeks to come. And remember, this is just my opinion on the matter. And opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. Most of them stink. But some can be fun to explore if you're willing. Until next time.